Hi everyone, Stephen Lee here. In this video, I'm going to be covering the 10 most frequently asked questions in regards to the Recovery Rebate Credit. Okay, a lot of you have been submitting some great questions. Continue to do so. In this video, please, I'll be covering the following 10 most frequently asked questions, okay, including the following 4. If I normally do not file a tax return, how can I claim the Recovery Rebate Credit? A second one is, who is a qualifying child for the Recovery Rebate? A third one is, will the IRS calculate the credit for me if I leave the line blank? Okay, that's another common question. And the fourth one is, can you claim a child born in 2020? Okay, so if you had a child in 2020, can you claim them and receive the credit? Yesterday, the IRS released an announcement stating that all legally permitted first and second round stimulus payments have been issued, and the IRS now turns its full attention to the 2021 filing season. Okay, so as of yesterday, Tuesday, the IRS has sent out all payments in regards to round 1 and 2 they believe their U.S. persons are eligible for. So now they're changing their focus to tax season. And the reason this is important is because if you did not receive your full or partial eligible stimulus payments in rounds 1 and 2, the only way, once again, the only way you can recover any unpaid amount will be filing your 2020 income tax return. Once again, you have to file a 2020 income tax return. So let's go right into question number 1. Most frequently asked question is, if I normally do not file or have to file an income tax return, how do I claim the Recovery Rebate Credit? Okay, that is a very common question. Let's talk about that right now. This may include those of you who used the non-filers enter payment information tool last year, right, for stimulus payments 1 and 2, right? If that includes you, this question is in regards to you as well, relates to you, right? If you're eligible and you did receive either rounds 1 or 2, or you think you qualify for more, you will need to file a 2020 tax return. Okay, and claim the Recovery Rebate Credit, even if you're not required to file a tax return. Okay, so unfortunately, if you qualified and you did not receive a payment, or you received a partial payment and you believe you are eligible for the full payment, you have to file a 2020 tax return. There's no other way. You have to file a 2020 tax return. Please remember to file the return electronically. There's been a lot of questions in regards to, can I file the return by paper and mail it in? No, I would not recommend that. File it electronically. Remember, if your income is $72,000 or less, the IRS has a free filing system, right? So you can file your federal tax return for free, okay, if your income is $72,000 or less. I'll leave a link in the information section below for that webpage and how you can file for free, okay? And once again, if you're filing your return only to receive the recovery rebate, the state income tax return is not required, okay? So if you're only filing for the recovery rebate, only send in the federal, okay? You do not have to send in the state. Right. Number 2 is, what are the eligibility requirements for the credit? Okay, I've been getting this question a lot, okay? Remember, the rebate, this credit is going to be based on your 2020 income tax return. Okay, not your 18 or 19, it's going to be based on your 2020 income tax return. Remember that rounds 1 and 2 of the stimulus payments were based on 2018 or 2019 tax returns, right? And individuals who did not qualify or did not receive the full amounts in rounds 1 or 2 may qualify for the rebate based on their 2020 tax information, okay? So, you know, people's profiles have changed over the years, right? Especially from 2020 to 2019, you may have lost a job or had a drop in income. Your qualifiers might have changed, right? So you definitely want to look into this. A quick recap, for rounds 1 of the stimulus payments, it was $1,200 per qualified individual and $2,400 per qualified couple married filing jointly, plus $500 per qualifying child. That was round 1. Round 2 was $600 per qualified individual, $1,200 per couple, and plus $600 per qualifying child. Remember, there are 4 basic requirements for rounds 1 and 2. The first is you need to have been a U.S. citizen or a U.S. resident. Okay, you're not eligible to be claimed as a dependent of another. You had a valid work-eligible Social Security number. And number 4 is your AGI, your income, needed to be below or within certain thresholds, right? Married is below 150 for 100% of the payment. Head of household is below 112,500 for a full payment. Single below 75,000 for a full payment, right? And there was phase outs above that for a reduced payment. Okay. Question number 3, who is not qualified for the recovery rebate? Okay, so if you fall in this list, then there's no need for you to fill out that recovery rebate worksheet. Okay, and I go into detail on that in one of my previous videos, and I'll leave it in the info card above. But you have to fill out that recovery rebate worksheet. But if you fall under this list, under these 6 examples, then you do not need to fill that out. You should not have anything on line 30 as well. Number 1 is you received 100% of the eligible stimulus payments in rounds 1 or 2. If you already received 100% of all the eligible stimulus payments, you do not need to, or you should not be claiming the recovery rebate credit. The second person is you can be claimed as a dependent of another person's tax return for 2020. Okay, this includes children or students who may be claimed on their parent's return, or a dependent parent who may be claimed on their adult child's tax return. Okay, so if you had a college student, okay, or you are a student, let's say someone in college or even a grad student, and you can be claimed as a dependent, okay, by your parents or someone else, then you do not qualify. Okay, you do not have to file your own. You should not be filing your own return if you're a dependent of them, and they can claim you. This includes adult dependents as well. The third type of person who does not qualify is you do not have a social security number that is valid for employment, okay? Issued before the due date of the 2020 tax return, including extensions. Okay, so if you don't have a valid social security number that's work eligible, then you do not qualify. Also, if you're a non-resident alien, you do not qualify. Also, if you are in a state or a trust, you do not qualify. And lastly, if you are an individual or you're filing on someone else's behalf of an individual who died before January 1, 2020, they do not qualify as well. If this is the kind of content that you're looking for, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. All right, question number 4, who may be qualified for the recovery rebate? Okay, once again, who may be qualified? Okay, we went through in question number 3, who does not qualify. In question number 4, we're going over who may qualify. There are 3 main examples here, actually 4 main examples. Number 1 is you have lower income in 2020 compared to 2019. This could make you eligible for the recovery rebate. So check your 2020 income versus your 2019. If there's a drop and you fall within those thresholds, then maybe you qualify for this recovery rebate. The second example is you had a new birth or you adopted an eligible child in 2020. Remember, eligible child is children under age 17 at the end of 2020. I'm going to go more in depth on a later question of who is an eligible child, okay? So if you had a new child or you adopted a child in 2020, they also may be eligible for this recovery rebate. Okay. Number 3 is no longer a dependent. If you were claimed as a dependent in 2018 or 2019, but cannot be claimed as a dependent of someone else's return in 2020, you may now be eligible. Okay, so let's say you graduated school in 2020, graduated college, and you are financially independent and you cannot be claimed as a dependent on your parents or some other guardian's tax return for 2020, then you may be eligible for rounds 1 and 2 stimulus. And the fourth example is someone who may be qualified is individuals who did not have a social security number valid for employment in 2018 or 2019, but received one before April 15th, 2021 or October 15th, 2021 if you extend that tax return deadline. So once again, if your Social Security, the validity has changed, the status changed from not eligible to eligible before April 15th, 2021 or October 15th, 2021, then you may now be eligible for rounds 1 and 2, a catch-up for those stimulus payments. The fifth frequently asked question is, are my stimulus payments taxable if based on my 2020 return, I am no longer eligible? Okay, this is a very common question, right? So let's say, based on your 18 and 19 returns, you were eligible for the stimulus payments. Remember, your income numbers were within a certain threshold based on your filing status. And let's say in 2020, you had a better year, right? You received more money. Will the stimulus payments that were sent out be taxable? The answer to that question is no, they will not be taxable, and you do not have to pay taxes on those. The sixth question is, Are individuals who died during 2020 eligible for the credit on their 2020 tax return? So the answer to that is an individual who died in 2020 or 2021 and did not receive the full amount of the stimulus payments that they were eligible for may recover it through the recovery rebate, okay? The seventh most frequently asked question is, will the IRS calculate the credit for me if I do not put anything on line 30? Once again, I get this question a lot. Will the IRS automatically calculate something on line 30 for you if you did not fill out the worksheet as well as put something on line 30? The answer is no. The IRS will not calculate the recovery rebate for you, okay? So you need to go to that worksheet, okay, and find out what that number is to put on line 30 if you believe you're eligible. Number 8, what if I calculate the incorrect amount for line 30? What will happen, right? So let's say you go through the worksheet or you put the incorrect amount on line 30. What's going to happen? The IRS will adjust the amount automatically and continue processing your tax return. If a correction is needed, there may be a delay in the processing time of your return, and the IRS will send you a notice explaining any changes that were made, okay? So if you put an incorrect amount, there might be a slight delay, but they won't stop processing your return there. Okay, refer to my prior video in regards to delays on this. The ninth most frequently asked question, and this is a really important one, is who is a qualifying child for the recovery rebate? Okay, who is a qualifying child for the recovery rebate? There are 8 qualifiers here, so hang on with me. Relationship test: son, daughter, stepchild, eligible foster child, brother, sister, stepbrother, stepsister, half-brother, half-sister, or a descendant of any of these. For example, like a grandchild, a niece, or a nephew. The second is an age requirement, okay? The child must have been under the age of 17 as of December 31st, 2020. Okay, so they cannot be 17 or older. They need to be under the age of 17. The third is a child is claimed as a dependent on the 2020 tax return. Okay, so that child, an eligible child, must be claimed as a dependent on that return for 2020. The fourth is the child is a U.S. citizen, a U.S. national, or a U.S. resident alien. Okay. The fifth is the child lived with you for more than half of 2020. The child must have lived with you for more than half of the 2020 year. The sixth is the child did not provide more than half of their own financial support in 2020. You must have supported them more than half financially. The seventh is the child does not file a joint return for the 2020 tax return. The child cannot have filed married filing jointly for 2020. And the eighth qualifier is the child must have a valid social security number that is eligible for work or employment in the United States, or an adoption taxpayer identification number. Okay, so either a valid social security number, work eligible, or an adoption taxpayer identification number, an ATIN. Okay. And the 10th most frequently asked question is, how fast can I expect my credit, my recovery credit, and the tax refund? Remember, the recovery rebate will not be issued separately. In general, if you file electronically, your rebate/refund, if you're eligible, will come within 3 weeks. So once again, file electronically, do not file by paper. And lastly, if you file by paper, typically it's going to be 8 weeks. If there's no big delays or big errors on your return, it's typically going to take 8 weeks. So it's either 3 weeks or 8 weeks. Okay, so there's a big difference there. So if you're eligible for this recovery rebate, make sure to fill out the recovery worksheet rebate. Refer to the video in the information section below on how to do that, because I walked through an example of how to fill out that worksheet. That worksheet is found in the instructions section of the Form 1040, okay? It's probably page 52 or 53 of that instruction, so you can find it there. Fill that out. They'll give you proper guidance in regards to what number to put on line number 30. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. Until next time, I wish you a wonderful day. Bye.